This paper is titled, Is Agile Software Development Methodology Delivering Its Promise? During the course of this presentation, we're going to discuss the introduction to Agile processing. We'll define Agile development, identify metrics for AD, analyze current methodologies, construct improvements to the model, recommend ways to control the Agile process, and discuss our conclusions. This paper examines how Agile methodologies such as extreme programming, Scrum, and feature-driven development strives to reduce the cost of change through the software development process. For example, XP uses rapid iterative planning and development cycles in order to force trade-offs and deliver the highest value features as early as possible. In addition, the constant systemic testing that is part of XP ensures high quality via early defect resolution. In spite of some of the early success with Agile methodologies, a number of factors are preventing their widespread adoption. Agile methodology advocates often find it difficult to obtain management support for implementing what seem like dramatic changes in application development. These methodologies require developers, managers, and users alike to change the way they work and think. Furthermore, these methodologies tend to be developer-centric and seem to dismiss the role of management in assuring success. Agile development is a great approach to development. It's not a panacea. It won't work miracles. Software development requires professional effort, and Agile development is no exception. It must be applied thoughtfully, carefully, and with attention to detail and nuance. That's hard. Don't be fooled by the inflated claims of the Agile bandwagon that's just topping the horizon. Today there are a number of different Agile methods available, such as Scrum, Crystal, adaptive software development, feature-driven development, and extreme programming. Although different, they share the same principles. Some of them are individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working code over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following the plan. The Agile methods are in the field of software engineering as far back as a manifesto for Agile software development came into existence by 2001. Core to Agile software development is the use of light but sufficient rules of project behavior, that use of human and communications-oriented rules. The best description of agility in business comes from Goldman, who stated, "Agility is dynamic, context-specific, aggressively change-embracing, and growth-oriented. It's not about improving efficiency, cutting costs, or battering down the hatches to ride out the fearsome competitive storms. It's about succeeding and about winning, about succeeding in the emerging competitive arenas, and about winning profits, market share, and customers in the very center of the competitive storms many companies now fear." Agile implies effective and maneuverable. An Agile process is both light and sufficient. The lightness is meant of staying maneuverable. The sufficiency is a matter of staying in the game. Agile development is hard to define because most people define it by giving examples. For instance, they give specific descriptions of extreme programming instead of defining the Agile developments in general. We've ended up with a widespread misconception that agility is about XP techniques like pair programming and test-driven development. By the way, XP is the only form of Agile that you know. This page probably won't make sense. Am I really saying that TDD is not part of core definition of Agile? Yes, I am. Look for TDD in the Agile Manifesto. It's not there. While TDD is a good thing, and I like it. It's not the core essence of agility. Defining agility by describing XP is like defining democracy by describing America. Such a definition obscures the underlying concept and details of the chosen example. Do we have a similar definition of agile development? One of uncorrupted by specific examples, and which defines the core underlying the concepts? In many respects, we don't. The Agile Manifesto is the founding document of the Agile movement and the source of the term Agile development. It's a great definition of what Agile developers think, but it doesn't concisely define what they do. In other words, it talks about values and principles, but not practices. How can a team measure wisely? This compilation of heuristics from various sources suggests that some tests which may be applied when designing measurements for the Agile process. A good Agile metric or diagnostic includes affirming and reinforcing Lean and Agile principles, measuring outcome, not output, following trends, not numbers, belonging to a small set of metrics and diagnostics, easy to collect, reveals rather than conceals, provides fuel for meaningful conversation, and provides feedback on frequent and regular basis. Also may measure value or process and encourage good enough quality. Let's look at these in a little detail. Affirms and reinforces Lean and Agile principles. Supports for customer intimate and value-focused traits that enforce Agile principles. This requires that people who understand Agile participate in metrics design. The truism, you get what you measure, reminds us that the counterproductive behaviors may ensue if you reinforce the wrong things. For example, overtime, percent of utilization, paperwork. Measures outcome, not output. In an Agile environment where simplicity or maximizing the amount of work done is promoted, the most spectacular outcome might be achieved by reducing planned output while maximizing delivered value. Outcomes are measured in terms of delivered customer value. Follows trends and numbers. Measure one level up to ensure you measure aggregated information, not sub-optimize part of a whole. For example, the financial community has a mature sense of a typical industry shapes or trends, aggregates above the individual team level for upper management to use. To promote process health, do not track at levels more granular than a team or an iteration. Belongs to a small set of metrics and diagnostics. Just enough metrics approach is recommended. Too much information can obscure important trends. Aggregate upward to roll interrelated or competing factors into a single big picture. It's easy to collect. For team-level diagnostics, the idea is one-button automation, where data is drawn from an operational tools. For example, product backlog, acceptance test tools, or code analyzers. For management use, avoid rework and manipulation of lower-level data. Aggregation is preferable. Reveals rather than conceals. Its context and significant variables should be visibly accompanied by notes on significant influencing factors to discourage false assumptions and facilitate improvement. Provides fuel for meaningful conversation. Face-to-face conversation is a very useful tool for process improvement. A measurement isolated from its context loses its meaning. Provides feedback on a frequent and regular basis. To amplify learning and accelerate process improvement, metrics should preferably be available at each iteration respective. At the key periodic management meetings. May measure value, product or process. Depending on where the problems lie, diagnostics may measure anything suspected of inhibiting effectiveness. Consider the appropriate audience for each metric and document its context assumptions to encourage proper use of its content. And remember, you get what you measure. Encourage good enough quality. The definition of what's good enough is given in the context. It's a given context. Must come from the context business customer or their proxy, not the developers.